Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Today I've got a really awesome project for you. All right, so this is inspired by Donna Hickok on the Craft Social. So if you're not familiar with the Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social, you gotta get there. It's our little corner of the internet. And this is Donna's 2-for-1 cards. Thanks for the inspiration, Donna. I cased your cards, and if you want to check out Donna's cards, they're pinned to featured in the Craft Social. It's facebook.com/groups/kitchen table stamper craft social, and there's a link below. And if you want to do Donna's 2-for-1 cards and share, as long as you use your Stampin' Up supplies, you don't link away from the Craft Social, you don't promote yourself or any other Stampin' Up demonstrator or crafting business, and you don't buy, sell, trade on my group, you're welcome. And we want to see what you do with this idea. Thanks for the inspiration, Donna. All right, so Donna's 2-for-1 cards are 2-for-1 because you get these 2 cards from a 6x6 piece of designer series paper, and it's super simple. This is what I love about it. It's a great way to just cut the paper and get crafting. So I'm going to start with my designer series paper. This is from A Little Latte. It's a Stampin' Up online exclusive. And we're going to cut this piece down to 5 1/4 because they're going to go on 5.5-inch card fronts. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And it's going to leave us, let's see, I think I might want this piece right here. It's going to leave us with a 3/4-inch strip. All right, so we've got our 3/4-inch strip. Hold on to this for just a second. Then we're going to rotate and cut 2 inches. So now we've got our 2-for-1 card pieces. So this will be the front of our landscape card, and this will be the front of our portrait card, but we're not going to let this little guy go to waste. I'm going to cut this guy down to 5 1/8. All right, so now we've got that scrap and it's cut down. Well, there we go. Next, we're going to grab our card bases, and I'm going to show you these again. Let's get them up in the corner there. I've got early espresso card bases for my 2-for-1 cards. So besides the card bases, I have some very vanilla cardstock for the liners too. So this is 2 cards. They're 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then I've got 2 liners, very vanilla, and this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So let's go ahead and do our designer series paper here. First, I'm going to do our landscape one. And so I need this 4-inch piece, and we're just going to wallpaper. That's what I call this, when you cover almost the entire card base with designer series paper. I call that wallpapering. So we're going to wallpaper 1 card base. And then our second one, we're going to do a little bit of detail. I've cut this piece of very vanilla cardstock using the Scalloped Contours dies. It's got this really cool kind of large pierced scallop, and so there's my piece. I'm going to adhere that to the back of my 2 by 5 1/4-inch piece. And so I'm just going to take a line of liquid glue right on the back of the designer series paper, and then I'm going to center this so that the paper almost touches that pierced scallop, and so that the scallop is interrupted at about the same place at the top and the bottom. I want it to start and stop with the same kind of curve. Do you know what I mean? If I put it all the way up at the top, then we're going to have a full scallop and a part one at the bottom, and I don't want that. So I'm going to start and stop at the same place, which means we're going to need to trim. So let me grab my trimmer. I'll set this aside for just a second, and I'm going to do that by just lining it up in my paper trimmer and trim. I'm going to rotate. I can put that one against the edge and trim, and there's our beautiful detail. I love this plaid paper with the very vanilla. It just really has kind of a homey feel to it. All right, let's get this sample guy back where you can see, and our card base for the portrait card. Let's make sure it opens on the right side and the left side, meaning the correct side. And let's go ahead and glue down that element. So now we have got kind of the base of our 2-for-1 going on here. You just pop that down, and I like that placement. Now let's deal with the inside liners. For this card, for our portrait card, I'm going to go ahead and take that strip that we saved, and I'm going to glue that into the liner, and then I'm going to glue that into the card. With Early Espresso, we definitely need a liner, and since we had that little scrap left there, perfect place for it, right inside the card. So let's go ahead and pop that in. Now there's some more surprises inside, so stay tuned. We're gonna get that guy inside, centered, nice even border all the way around, and then I'm gonna line this one with the Very Vanilla liner left here. All right, and we'll just pop that one in. Now, let's do some stamping, shall we? I'm gonna do all my stamping with Early Espresso ink and the brand new Latte Love stamp set is photopolymer. And so I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat, got the Latte Love stamps, and there are Latte Love dies. They can be bundled to save 10%, and we're gonna use most of these today. So there they are, kind of all spread out. Let's get some paper here. I've got all kinds of different scraps. We're gonna start with kind of the star of the show here. This is Petal Pink, and we're gonna do our coffee mugs. You get one that is a top view. We're gonna do that one for our portrait card, and you get one that is a side view. We're gonna do that one for our landscape card. Now, as I stamp what I need on my scraps, I'm gonna just grab a pair of paper snips, and I'm gonna cut down these scraps because we're gonna have a lot of die cutting to do, and I want to make it through in as few passes as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hack this one out, set it aside, let it dry a little bit, and let's do a bit more stamping. All right, here I've got a long banner and a short banner and a circle. These pieces are all very vanilla, and the banners are the skinny banners from the Stylish Shapes dies. We're going to do a little bit of sentiments here. The circle is very vanilla, and it's a 2 3/8 inch circle punch. On that circle, we're gonna stamp "You're the best part of my day," Early Espresso, and we want that up high and over to the right as far as we can get it. And then we're gonna do this one's on me on our little banner, and we want that all the way to the right. And then we're gonna do "Thanks so much" on the bigger banner all the way to the left. All right, there's our greetings. Put those aside. And then I have some smoky slate here and Early Espresso ink. I'm going to stamp a spoon. We're gonna need two, but by the magic of television, I already have one cut out because this die set only has one spoon die. We're gonna hold off on cutting that down for just a minute because we're gonna need that for die cutting. Then I'm going to bring in, I'm gonna put a little piece of pecan pie, and we're gonna need, this is the coffee for inside the side view mug. And then we're gonna need some beans. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 single beans. That's how many dies come in the set, by the way, so we can run it all in one pass. I love that you get multiples of these because they make the cutest little embellishments. And then the little bunch of beans, we're going to do 2 of those. And then, let me see here, I need enough room to die cut my lid, so now I can just snip this one down. All right, I think we've got all of our stamping now, and we're gonna get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right, we are going to, because I think it's winning, try and do this in as few passes as possible. So I'm going to really load up this machine with all the parts I can fit. Okay, there it is. I think I've filled up about as much as I can. And remember, this is for 2 cards. Now, I've got the little coffee cup there. We're going to need 3 of those total. 2 that have the handle on the left side and 1 that has the handle on the right. So I'm only doing the extra one. There's 2 dies, so I was able to run the other set ahead. And then I ran the other spoon ahead. So there are some things that'll require 2 passes, but here we go. We've got some vellum and some early espresso yet to cut, but we're getting all of our bits for 2 cards here really pretty quickly. All right, let me load up the second batch we're gonna run through. All right, here's our second pass. I've got some vellum and some early espresso cardstock, and now we're cutting the pieces for the carafe and the French press, the little dark ovals, which is coffee for inside those little cups. So there's the coffee that goes inside each of these vellum carafes, right? And this is the coffee that's going to go inside of that little lemon lolly cup that we just cut. All right, we'll bring our cards back in here, and we're going to first assemble the little carafe and the French press. So we've got our French press coffee and our little vellum piece here. We've got our carafe coffee and our vellum piece. We've also cut the handle from Smoky Slate for the carafe, and then the whole frame here from Smoky Slate for the French press, and then the lid for the carafe. Now I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue to assemble. We're going to put the liquid glue on the cardstock piece. It will show through the back of the vellum, but no big deal because the cardstock covers it from the front. Just a little bit on the collar here for this handle piece. Nothing down the actual handle yet. A small little bead on top of the lid. And we got the carafe put together. Let that dry for a second. Then same order here. Coffee first, onto the vellum. This is on the front of the vellum. And then the frame for the carafe, we're going to put across this support, this long one, not quite down to the feet, nothing on the handle, just a little bit at the very bottom of the lid. A little bit of glue. Less is more. Less is much, much more for this. And then you want to line it up so that the lid is just over the edge of the pot. All right, now we've got our carafe and our French press. Let's get our little coffee cup here. There's our lemon lolly cup and this little oval early espresso. And you can do these pieces, these early espresso pieces with the sheet, adhesive sheet on the back, but just a touch of glue really works, and less is so much more in this case. All right, then I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of my cup. And let me show you my magic of television. I have 2 more of those little cups. Now we have our spoon and another one. I'm going to put a little bit of dimensional on the back of my spoon. Long skinny piece. That's what the edges are for, right? And we're going to pop that on our spoon. Now we've got a spoon for each of our cards. Got my side view coffee cup. We're going to add the coffee. And then to make our life really, really easy, we're going to grab some glue dots. We've already got a couple set here, and we're going to put all the coffee beans right on glue dots because I am putting them on the center knot, and so the glue dot is the best for that, but I'm also using them in the card as embellishments, and these little guys are best if they're just pick and stick. All right, and there's all the beans we need, maybe plus. Now you're probably noticing there's no coffee in this cup, so let's slide aside our bits for just a minute here. And I'm gonna bring in my Stamparatus. I really wanted a high contrast between the 2 brown colors, really rich espresso fill for that cup. So I'm gonna use my stamp positioner. Of course, you can use any stamp positioner you have. There are plenty that are still available on the market, but this way I know that I'm going to get the most beautiful, brown, delicious coffee that I can possibly get. I'm gonna just put my scrap of pecan pie right in my stamp positioner. Use my magnets to hold it. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to slide this a little bit more to the side and bring in my early espresso ink. And I like to grab the stamp set to hold the lid while I ink. And I'll ink up these 2. I'm going to show you both of them. We'll use the heart on this set, so we'll have 1 card of each. All right, so then it can stamp, and if there's some chance it looks a little sketchy or it's not quite as rich and dark as I'd like it to be on that first impression, you see, I just wanted to be sure. This is what I use a stamp positioner most for, and there are, you know, Tim Holtz makes one, and yeah, there's lots out there, so I do recommend it for things like this. Now I'm going to take this little guy. I still want to get that. Maybe the magnet's kind of close. Let's try that one edge a little bit better. There we go. There. That's the wonderful thing about the stamp positioner. I do wish that Stampin' Up! Still had the Stamparatus available, but you know, wishing doesn't make it so. So let's now show you the next trick with this set. I am so glad that there is a die to cut those out. You can just run that through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But if you happen to have the 1 3/8 inch circle punch from Stampin' Up! Or from another brand, I'm gonna link one at Amazon for you. This is so much easier with a 1 3/8 inch circle punch. So I'm just gonna slide that in there and center it, punch it out, and you can really get even round brown all the way around. So 1 3/8 inch works great. And let's go ahead and pop that into our top view mug. Before I put the design in, this is the direction I want the handle. There's my sample so you can see, and then I'll lay the coffee in so that I know when I go to put it on the card, it'll be the direction that I prefer. All right, now I'm gonna slide all my bits to each side. We're gonna just sort them out here. This is the fun thing about the 2-for-1 card. It's gonna make 2 cards really fast, but we've got some bits to sort. Now, let me show you the last couple of die cuts that I did. I've got this great big irregular hexagon and these two swoopy circles. And let me show you where they came from in case you're cutting your own. You're going to make these cards. The swoopy circles are Thoughtful Expressions dies, and it's the second from the largest. Okay, that's Pecan Pie. And then the irregular hexagon is the largest one, and that is from Nested Essentials. Let's one for each side, and we're going to pull out our landscape card and get to layering. I'm going to add liquid glue, pop on my hexagon, right centered, top to bottom, right to left. Now I'm going to take this swoopy square or swoopy circle and another one of 2 3/8 inch vanilla circle, and I'm going to pop that on there like that. All right, I'm going to set that aside for just a minute because I'm going to do ribbon for both of them at the same time. So now I'm bringing in another one of these swoopies, and You're the Best Part of My Day. This one we have to be a little bit more careful when we assemble. We don't just want to get it centered, but I want the big scallops as north, south, east, west. So first I'm going to line up my swoopy how I want it, and then I'll bring in my greeting level, and after that I'll slide so I've got it centered top to bottom and right to left, running level. That's that one. Now we're going to do a little ribbon. I think that this is the best ribbon with this paper. You can agree or disagree if you like. Let me know in the comments. But this is a Stampin' Up! Online exclusive. It's Pecan Pie center stripe ribbon. There's something about the plaid plus the texture of this ribbon. It's got a big weave to it that almost looks like upholstery fabric, maybe even like a tweed upholstery fabric, and gives it this really homey feel. So I love this ribbon. I think it's beautiful with this designer series paper. I wanted to point out that coordination for you. It's that outside the suite coordination. This is not the ribbon that goes with this suite, but it sure is a perfect coordination. And I just looped it to go across the card. So you've probably got about 11 inches here. I'm going to tie some linen thread around the loop, and you notice I didn't cut it off the spool yet because I'll just cut it off at the right length exactly, and then there will be no waste, which is really nice because these Stampin' Up! Ribbons are unique and beautiful and they coordinate so perfectly, but they're not cheap. So we're gonna tie our bow, loop, swoop, tuck, and pull. We're using linen thread here. And then I'm gonna hold the center knot, adjust the size of the loops, and then I'm gonna just do a simple little trim on this end to get rid of the fray. Cut this end off the spool, and so no waste on our linen thread either, except for the little raggedy ends. And then we can go ahead and cut our ribbon at an angle here, and you'll see no waste. That's all we're going to throw away. So that's why I keep it attached to the spool. I'm going to do the same thing for our You're the Best Part of My Day for this portrait card, but a little bit shorter ribbon. So this is probably about maybe 7.5 inches of ribbon, and we're going to do that same thing. All right, there's our shorter, and now let's get them on the cards. I'm gonna bring this guy here, and let's see how close to the edges can I get that. All right, good. I'm gonna do liquid glue on You're the Best Part of My Day, and drop that high of center, and a little bit right of center too. And then I'm going to get some tear and tape adhesive, and we're going to put the ribbons with tear and tape. So I'm going to add a little strip on the back of each one. Now I've removed the liner on this one. It's peel and stick, and I'm going to pop it on the card. And then I'm going to add my swoopy circle over top. And this one's going to be centered. I want that same bigger loop, that bigger scallop, to be north, south, east, and west. Now let's bring in our carafe, and we're going to add liquid glue on the lid, behind the coffee, and on the handle so that it doesn't show anywhere. And we're going to tuck that onto our card, kind of with the handle up against the ribbon. And then our French press, we're going to do that same thing on the coffee, on the lid, on the handle. A little bit of liquid glue. We're going to add that one. Now we're going to get our top view mug. Add that. Don't cover your greeting. We can remove the liner and add our ribbon to this card now. Just pick and stick. Now we've got our side view mug for this one. What do you guys think of the 2-for-1 card? They're really coming together now, aren't they? There's our mug. Let's get our cups and spoons for each one, and I'm going to peel off the dimensional, make them sticky. And let's not forget our thanks so much banner. We've got that guy. Go on with liquid glue. Now we'll add a spoon and 2 cups. I love that we get the 2 cups that face each other with the handles on the opposite sides, and this one. And then we're going to add a little cup and spoon here. Let's get that ribbon out of the way. So cute. Now, glue dots. I'm going to add a little bunch of beans right on my knot there, and then a couple to embellish. And then another one on my knot right here. I told you there's some surprises inside, so hang on. Let's do this one first, because you saw this inside. Got a bunch of beans, and we're going to add them right here. Finished up our inside, really cute, right? Now remember, this one's on me. Let's add a bean on that banner. And now let's take a look here at our thanks so much card. We've got a pocket for a gift card. This is 2 inches by 5 1/8. And I'm going to take that same 2 3/8 inch circle punch that we've been using, and I'm going to center and do, I don't know what that is, maybe a quarter the way in. So we get a nice big opening. Let's adhere that with a line of liquid glue inside of our card. So liquid glue on the sides, across the bottom, skinny little line, and that'll make a pocket. Line it up with the liner. So cute. I love this plaid paper. Oh, now we've got the perfect little pocket for a gift card. And a little tag lets your recipient know this one's on me. Isn't that adorable? We're not done yet. I know you thought that we were, But this suite has the most amazing embellishments too. Let me get them and show you. We're gonna add lots and lots of these adhesive backed swirl dots. So they look like latte. We've got pecan pie, petal pink, and kind of a very vanilla color. And I'm gonna go a little crazy with them. I'm gonna use some white ones here because last time I did petal pink, so I'm mixing up my colors. I'm gonna do 2 and then kind of one over here like a triangle, and then I don't know, 2 more up here. And then I'm gonna use some, dropped it, pecan pie on this one. So I'm gonna put one there and over here, and then up here we kind of got a triangle effect going on, and then I'm gonna put a couple over here. I know that's a lot of dingles, but I sure do love them. All right, let me show you the petal pink. Here's the very vanilla on this card and the petal pink on this card. They're all just wonderful with this designer series paper. All right, you guys, there is Donna's 2-for-1 card. Thank you, Donna. You guys try it out, share, join us on the Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social, facebook.com/groups/kitchen table stamper craft social. To shop Stampin' Up 24/7, pick up these online exclusives. You can buzz over to marissaalvarez.stampinup.net. And if you need anything, reach out, Marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.